Hello again, and we are reading chapter 17 today in The Secret in the Old Attic by Carolyn Keene, a Nancy Drew mystery story. And let's get started. We only have 4 chapters left. Chapter 17, The Hidden Room. Darting into the house, Nancy hurried back to the attic. Learn anything? Mr. March asked. Oh, yes, breathlessly, she told him of her find. I never knew of any hidden room, he exclaimed. But come to think of it, Phipp would disappear for hours at a time. We didn't know where he was, and he never told us anything, so we didn't ask. Perhaps your son found the room and kept it a secret for his music. Let's move the wardrobe and let's check it out. Nancy and Mr. March found it was too heavy for them to budge, so Nancy went off to summon Effie from her supper preparations. We need a strong pusher, she told the maid. Effie grinned. I can do that. What's on your mind? Furniture moving. By working together, the three finally succeeded in shifting the massive oak wardrobe a few more inches. Susan, who had come upstairs, watched with deep interest. Suddenly, she clapped her hands and began to dance around excitedly. There it is, a door with a peephole in the wall. Sure's you're born, it is, Effie agreed, staring in astonishment. I wouldn't have believed it, yet there seems to be all kinds of funny things going on around here. The door was a crude, homemade affair, evidently built by someone with very little skill in carpentry. Phipp must have put that in himself, that rascal, Mr. March chuckled. He was always tinkering. Nancy unbolted the door and pushed with all her strength. It refused to budge. That's interesting, said Mr. March. Let me try it. He had no better success than Nancy. Effie also tried, but still couldn't open it. It must be bolted on the other side, she said. In that case, we're never going to get in. Many thoughts were flashing through Nancy's mind. The strange musical notes and the rapping sound she had heard must have come from behind this locked door. With no apparent opening to the place from the old servants' quarters, how did anyone get inside? Effie whispered hoarsely. I'll bet there's a ghost beyond there. Please leave it alone. Okay. Don't let it out. No telling what it'll do to us. The remark brought Nancy back to reality. She was provoked that the maid had spoken and her statement had frightened Susan. The child clung to Nancy. Effie, go downstairs and take Susan with you, Nancy said rather severely. There are no such things as ghosts, and you know it. Mr. March and I will continue this work alone. The maid, somewhat embarrassed, took the child by the hand and went to the second floor. Although Nancy had declared there could not be a ghost beyond that locked door, she was somewhat apprehensive as to what she might find behind it. Well, shall we break the door down? She asked Mr. March. He nodded. Together they pushed against the door, and suddenly there was a splintering sound, and the door gave way. Nancy and Mr. March fell forward. There was no floor beyond the door. Man and girl pitched right into space. And they actually have a picture. There's not many in this book, but there's a picture of them. All right, we'll turn the page. For a second, Nancy thought she had been hurtled to the outdoors, but suddenly, with Mr. March beside her, they crashed onto something hard. The two, their breath knocked out of them, lay still for a few moments. Then Nancy got up. Are you all right? She asked, getting up and helping Mr. March to rise. Yes, he panted. I guess we missed some steps. The candlelight was still visible at a distance, but most of its beam was cut off by that massive wardrobe. As Nancy's eyes became accustomed to the dimness, she groped towards the doorway of the attic to retrieve the light. She found 3 steps leading from the secret room to the attic and climbed up. Effie was standing there trembling. I heard a crash, she began. Everything's all right, Nancy assured her. Mr. March and I had a fall, but we weren't hurt. Just a couple bruises. Oh, thank goodness, Effie cried. Oh my, you could have killed yourselves. Did you find anything? Not yet. We'll let you know as soon as we do. Effie went downstairs again. Nancy got the candle and returned to the secret room. Her first thought was to find out how the person who had bolted the door from the inner side had gained access to the room. Nothing showed up until she looked above her. A skylight, she said aloud, and played the candle on the low arched ceiling. Look, Mr. March, it's been entirely covered with a large black cloth. A person could step in and out of that window easily, Mr. March remarked. The fellow put the dark cloth over to keep anyone from seeing a light in here. And come to think of it, Phipp often went to his bedroom early. He probably came up here instead of going to bed. Nancy was not entirely sure the elderly man was correct in his assumption about the skylight being the entrance. There was no evidence outdoors that an intruder could possibly gain access to the steep roof without a long, long ladder. And that certainly would have been noticed, Nancy thought. She and Mr. March searched for another opening, but were unable to find one. Nancy had to conclude that Mr. March's theory probably was correct, and yet a strong hunch told her that it was not correct. Now, let's look for Phipp's music, said Mr. March. The only pieces of furniture in the room were a small antique piano desk and a table without a drawer. Nancy inquired if Mr. March had ever seen them before. Yes, long ago, he said, but I seem to recall that they stood along a wall in the attic at that time. Nancy began to examine the unusual piano desk, feeling that if Phipp's music were hidden any place, it would be in there. Lightly, she struck a few of the yellowed keys, and then her heart sank. These harp-like notes are the very ones I heard the other day, she said. Are you sure? Positive. To herself, Nancy said, I'm afraid the intruder knew the secret of this old attic and has found all the music. One by one, the songs will be published, and there won't be a scrap of evidence to bring suit against the thief. The one clue we found under the wallpaper on the staircase isn't going to help us much. Mr. March shared her feeling of discouragement as they pulled out one drawer after another of the piano desk. They contained nothing. Perhaps there's a secret drawer under the keys, said Nancy, taking heart suddenly. Those musical notes I heard may be part of some special combination that's used to open a hidden compartment. Didn't you say you heard rapping sounds as well? Mr. March reminded her. Maybe you have to rap on something while you strike the notes. But what's the use of bothering if all the music is gone? We don't know all the music's gone, Nancy said. Maybe the thief was only experimenting just as we are and didn't find the combination. Nancy tried to imitate the sounds exactly as she heard them. Again and again she played the musical notes while rapping first on one part, then another of the wooden framework with her free hand. She was just about to give up when a drawer shot out just above the piano keys. And that is the end of our chapter for today. Join me again where I read the next chapter. Bye for now.